Hi everyone, this is my run on Glittering City of Gold Lufenia Plus, which is the debut of Cid LD weapon, and this is going to be a no boss turn run featuring the return of the very overpowered combo of Cid Raines, Aphmau and Bartz. So a little bit about the party setup before going into the battle itself. This fight is pretty straightforward with Cid, Mao, Bartz, and you can probably do a 0 boss turn run with this party setup. The only thing you need to prepare for is that at battle start 69 and 39%, the bosses will battery themselves to max brave, become immune to instant break attacks, and will gain huge boost to their defenses until you break them. So you need to have some sort of gravity shaving or huge bravery critical attacks to break through their big defenses. And that's where Bartz comes in. Bartz LD is a 100% gravity before the brave attack, which will let you break the bosses very easily. So at the start of the fight, when they first get the first defense posture at battle start, what I did is have Cid Raines pull Bartz so that Bartz can immediately act, and then I go straight into BT mode with Bartz. And during BT mode, you can just use his LD to break both of the bosses instantaneously. Do note that the bosses are immune to instant break, but Bartz LD is not an instant break effect. It's a 100% gravity shave before the brave hit, and therefore, although it sort of acts like an instant break, it's really not. So now that I've gone through the first defense posture from the boss, the first part of the fight is very typical of the Aphmau and Cid Raines combo. So all I'm doing here is pulling Bartz to get another turn so that I can ramp his BT aura to 3 stacks. After which I'll just be linking Aphmau with Cid Raines and do consecutive launches to whittle down the boss's HP. With regards to the call setup, what I did is have Cait Sith call ability set of Bartz as usual, mainly so that I can get brave gains every time I do a brave attack later in the fight. I set a Kurasame call on Aphmau mainly for the HP damage boost. If you don't have Kurasame, any other call ability that provides HP damage boost, such as Maria LD call, will work. As for Cid Raines, I gave him an Amidatelion call, mainly for the 100% gravity shaving, which I will be using at 39%. If you don't have Amidatelion LD call, there are other alternatives. You can also use an Edward LD call because it also has 100% gravity shaving, or maybe even something like Ultimacia, which doesn't have 100% but it has about 75 to 80% gravity shave in the call ability. If you don't have any of that, you can just use a defense down LD call such as Jack or Tidus or Shantoto, and you can just have Bartz use his LD again later in the fight to gravity shave the bosses. The reason I use Amidatelion call instead of having Bartz gravity shave the boss later is I just didn't want Bartz to get too many turns. For one thing, he does relatively less damage per turn compared to Cid Raines, and I also didn't want to increase the turn count too much. I was trying to aim for a low turn run. Once one of the bosses hit 69%, both bosses will enter defense posture, so you will need to gravity shave both bosses again. So at 69%, what I do is just have Cid Raines pull Bartz. It was unfortunate that this happened during Aphmau's turn, so I needed to link Aphmau with Cid Raines first, and then only have Cid Raines pull Bartz. But essentially, you want to try to give Bartz a turn right here, so that he can gravity shave both bosses. Alright, so during Bartz's turn here, this is also where I used the Cait Sith LD call. I used the Cait Sith base call right at the start of the fight, mainly just to give everyone some of the buffs. But here is a good time to refresh the buffs as well as activate Cait Sith's LD called Aura. and then I end Bartz's turn using his LD to break both bosses so that I can continue the Cid Raines launches. The reason why the turn count remain low is because if Cid Raines is buffed with tactical switch, he will not increase the turn count if he gets a free turn right after Aphmau, and Aphmau will also not increase the turn count as long as she's using the Puppet Brave or HP attacks. She will only increase the turn count by 1 when she uses her LD. So the turn count so far are all taken up by Aphmau's LD as well as Bartz taking some turns, and of course Cid Raines right at the start of the battle when he had to pull Bartz. To maximize on the launches, if Aphmau has a turn after Cid Raines, ideally you actually want to use either his S1 Cavalry Rush or his EX, because both of these attacks will make both enemy launchable and therefore allow you to launch during Aphmau's turn as well. You want to save his S2 or his LD, which has the turn manipulation, for when you actually need to pull Aphmau back. Right, so this is the final defensive posture that the bosses will get, and here you can actually just pull Bartz again, but this is why I use the Amidatelion LD call. If I pull Bartz, I will have to actually have Bartz take a turn, which will increase the turn count further. If you're not too fast about the turn count, then you can do it, but if you use a call ability to gravity shift the bosses, you can then just continue on with Cid Raines and Aphmau alternating their turns. At this point, all I'm doing is just continuing the alternative turns between Cid Raines and Aphmau until Aphmau runs out of her LD. This is mainly to capitalize on the free turn launches that Cid Raines can do while he's buffed by tactical switch. So at this point, Aphmau has served her purpose. She's out of her LD, so there's really no point to keep her in any longer. So this is where I bring in the support Cid Raines, and to prevent the turn count from increasing any higher, I'm just popping summon mode and then alternating turns between both Cid Raines. Make sure to always use an ability that can manipulate turns so that you can deny Bartz from taking a turn. So that's it for this run. As always, I hope the content has been informative, and if you enjoy the content, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lufenia fight. Bye!